Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do.
That's a direct order. Do it now.
He's been put down, ripped off, cut open. Now he's unleashed. The American insurgency starts now. This is Rusty Humphries, Rebellion Radio.
Well, hello, my brother from another mother. How are you? My sister from another mister. How are you? My name is Rusty Humphries. This is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. We are powered by the nice folks at Right Wing News. You can see us on Right Wing News and Liberty One TV. We also encourage you to follow me and download the HearMeOut app. The HearMeOut app, it's so important you download it right to your smartphone, and you can follow me and other people. And I'm telling you, it is an app that we conservatives can actually have an impact on because it's new and it's fresh, and all the young kids are on it. But I'm telling you, it's Twitter before Twitter's cool, Facebook before it became huge. And so this is a platform where we can communicate and not worry about the algorithms taking over. All right, do me a favor if you would, please. Check in. Who are you? Where are you a deplorable from? I want to say your name if I can, and get as many folks on as we can. Let's see here. Already a lot of people. Have you shared the video, by the way? Lyndon's there. Jack's there. Chris is in northeastern Louisiana. Edward is in New York. Melissa's in Texas. Jordan is in Arizona, or from Arizona, working in Pennsylvania. Gene says no on the parade. We don't have to prove we're badass. We'll get to that in a second. Leo's in Texas. Ray is there. Yes, we need a parade, and Nancy Pe-lousey can pack up. Shirley is deplorable in Washington. Let's see. Carol says hello. Carol's in Pittsburgh, PA. Jeannie is first time in California. Jeannie, how are you? Thanks for being here. Dan is there. Bundy charges drop. Wasn't that a while ago? Ari says, Arlie says, I don't care what they drag up on our president. They will never get my support. He who has no sin cast the first stone. Paul is in Washington. Warren, Phoenix, Arizona, deplorable. David's in Missouri. Dan is in Kentucky. And Chris is in Show Low, Arizona. Stephen is in Vacaville, California. I lived in Vacaville, California for a little while. Went to Armeo High School for a tiny bit, Stephen. I've got a lot of relatives there. Mount Shasta's there. Anyway, Southeast Virginia's where Wanda is. Steve's from Wyoming. Roseanne says no parade. All right, we'll get some more of your stuff coming up a little bit. So Nancy Pe-lousey, a woman who Nasty Pe-lousey. Let's get it out there right off the top. This is a woman, by the way, one of the wealthiest women in the world. This woman is rich. Richie rich, this Nasty Pe-lousey. And let's be honest. The majority of Democrats during the State of the Union address did not stand for the families of daughters murdered by MS-13. Yet Nasty Pe-lousey stood 7 hours today and yapped for illegal immigrants. I don't know about you, but that tells me everything I need to know about the Democrat Party. How about you? Now, I have not listened to one moment of Nasty Pe-lousey and her speech. I wanted to save it for you. I figured we could watch a little bit of it together. I just am getting in a random spot. My prediction is going to be that it will be all based in emotion. No reason, no logic, all feel-good crap designed to make you feel guilty that you're not just handing over the keys of our country to future Democrat voters. Let's take a little listen. Believe me, it's not going to be long, okay? Don't tune out just because it's Nasty Pe-lousey, okay? We're just going to play a little bit. Let's listen to her speak. 7 hours this wench went on. Can you imagine? Oh, my God. I can't think of anything worse than listening to Nasty Pe-lousey for 7 hours in a row. But let's listen to a little bit of it here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.
Dream. When DACA was announced, it transformed my life. Suddenly, I could be paid for the research I was doing. I could drive. I could be free of the fear of deportation, knowing that all my hard work and dedication would not be meaningless and that the idea of America and her promise were alive and strong.
Okay, so she's going to do anecdotal stories from people who this will affect. Again, all emotional BS. Nasty, we can't afford it. Okay? But again, I've got a plan. I've talked about this plan before. I'll talk about it again. I do not believe there's any way we'd be able to, deport these 13 million people or however many it is. So we build the wall first. Build the wall first. Everything, all your DACA stuff puts on hold. You build the wall first. Pathway to not a citizenship, but some kind of a legal status, and they can never vote. Ever. Nor are their children citizens of the U.S. Part of this also has to be no anchor babies in the law. So it has to be one parent must be a U.S. citizen. So I guess they could marry somebody or get knocked up by somebody and have a child with a citizen. But we have to stand up and say enough is enough is enough. We've had enough of these people coming into our country. Oh, but they were children. It was none of their fault. They didn't have anything to do with it. Their parents were legally responsible. Their parents knew what they were doing. Their parents did this intentionally. They need to be held responsible. They'll pay back taxes. They don't have back taxes. Do you agree or disagree? Thumbs up, hearts, hates, whatever. I want to see what you think. Share the video. Let's listen to a little more Nasty Pe-lousey.
It also meant that medical schools, including my current school, University of Vermont's Lennar College of Medicine, changed their policies and gave DACA students a chance to enroll. I understand that legislation takes time, but if there's anything you can do to help DACA students, including a discharge petition, please do so. If you do, you will have the gratitude of a group of dedicated individuals who wish nothing more than to give back to the only country they have ever.
Yeah, well, that's what she wants. She wants the gratitude and the votes from these people. And again, it's not a fun thing. I'm not going, golly jeepers, isn't it great that these kids have a hard time? I want to know how they got in college. How did they get in? Did they get a discount? Again, what we're talking about is a racist policy. They're saying if you are of a different color, you can commit certain crimes and not be held accountable. Why is that right? Why is that fair? Why would anybody think that's a good idea? Nasty Pe-lousey. Oh, and look who's right behind her, too. The nasties of the nasties. Okay, one more. One more. Don't go away, but let's listen to one more Nasty Pe-lousey comment.
Okay, so now this one is from Paul Ryan, a bipartisan problem solvers caucus wrote to Paul Ryan to request a Queen of the Hill rule to govern debate on competing DACA and border security proposals to establish the official position of the U.S. House of Representatives. Last week, 48 members of Problem Solvers Caucus announced a bipartisan set of principles.
I'm sorry, I can't
that
do
lay
anymore.
the groundwork.
I'm sorry, I can't. I mean, wow, that must have been a boring 7 hours. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine having to live through that. What's on your mind today? Jesse, hello, Rusty. It's just me or Jessica from Illinois. Let's hear Sweaty Teddy. Video is shared. Yeah, have you shared the video tonight? Thank you. Nasty Pe-lousey is off her meds again, thinks Bobby. Duke is there from Kentucky. Mary says it's time for a parade. Teddy says, love the show. Keep up God's good work and spread the New World Order message. Not sure what that message is there, Teddy. Reese is in Illinois. Brian's checking in. Hello, Brian. Don't see anything wrong with a parade if it's done on 4th of July. Kara's there. Jack is there. Evelyn is there from nice, warm Florida. Vicky says, get rid of self-serving, old lying hag Pe-lousey. That's a good one. How about this other page? Paul thinks she needs to retire. Warren and Norma says, Nasty Pe-lousey should be home packing so she will be ready to fly out with her illegals, DACA, and her love babies. Pack, 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 Nancy. Will be there to wave goodbye and good riddance. Okay. Share the video, my friend. Share the video. Share the video. And by the way, do not forget how important it is to download the Hear Me Out app. Okay? The Hear Me Out app is so important. First of all, it's fun. Okay? It's like Twitter, but you talk. You don't have to type. You don't have to get it into 142 characters, whatever it is. It's 41 seconds maximum. It's short little messages. And I do movie reviews and political things and whatever's on my mind, and you can do the same thing. It doesn't cost anything. Just download it to your smartphone. But if you would please, it's so important, download it and then follow me, Rusty Humphries. Just type in hashtag Rusty, you'll find me. And then if you find my picture, there's a little X and you, or a plus sign, you push it. And then you're following me. It's that simple. And then comment and stuff. And if you do type hashtag Rusty in one of your messages, I'll listen. So do that for me, if you would please. It is so very important. Oh, here's something else the Democrats found very, very important. To me, this is just survival of the fittest, and if you're this dumb, you deserve whatever you get. But the Democrats think it's time for a new law. What law do the Democrats want? Check this one out, my friends.
Bright-colored detergent pods look like candies. They look like toys.
They might as well say bite me on them. Because
no, I'll say bite me to you. But, okay, for little children, I understand. But they're not talking about little kids. They're talking about kids in college and high school. And if your kid is so stupid that they want to eat the Tide Pod, good. If they want to smoke it, good. They deserve the brain damage. It's just going to make them vote Democrat anyway. I don't know why these guys are upset. That's just ensuring new Democrat voters getting brain damage by smoking and eating soap. You know, we used to call that a punishment. Now they think it's fun. Good, do it. But Democrats actually are wasting our time trying to make a law that the pods should not look as tasty. I don't know about you. I never thought the pod looked tasty, but that's me.
because that is what they offer. You don't need them to look like gummy bears in order for consumers to use them.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you think, okay, this is how stupid, I mean, idiotic. You think that Tide Pod looks like a gummy bear? Really? I mean, are you guys that mentally challenged that you think a laundry detergent pod looks like a gummy bear? How did you guys get elected to anything? I want to know who pulled the lever for these morons. These are people that should be in mental institutions, not running the most powerful nation in the history of the world. They're actually pushing a law to make Tide Pods less appetizing. I think they're pretty unappetizing as they are. Maybe you think I'm being wrong and mean. What do you think? Am I wrong? Tell me. Comment. Comment right now. Jared thinks they're brainless wonders. Genevilia thinks that she would like to see a Native American parade. Paul wants to know where these darn people come from. Hey, Nancy Pe-lousey, DACA, Democrats Against Citizens of America. Nice. Terry says, make me sick that foreigners are allowed to defecate on some of the country's strengths. Mark thinks, now I think they should be frosted and chocolate coated. Debbie thinks they're ridiculous. Jessica says, I'm dying here. Tide Pods look like gummy bears? Are you kidding? Lyndon says, want some good advice? Buy lots of ammo. Jody says, well, you need common sense, which they don't have, I would say. Terry says, you're right. Let them eat it. If they end up getting brain damage, they'll vote for Democrats. Good for them. All right. A little bit more of this press conference. I mean, to me, this is just entertainment. This is comedy. Who's the funniest comic of your, Richard Pryor back in his day, or Bob Newhart, or maybe if you're in the Andrew Dice Clay, or any of these this is as good a comedy as any of these guys. Jerry Seinfeld. This is highbrow comedy.
Well, this is in response to not only the Tide Pod challenge, but there's been a number of accidents, too, where where very young children put them in their mouths. And there were 12,000 calls to Poison Control Center last year because of exposure to laundry pods of some kind. Doesn't have to be this brand. So legislators are asking these new requirements for the packaging, for the coloring, so that it wouldn't be quite as attractive to young kids.
Okay. I mean, young kids, I understand, but that's not what this is. This is about the Democrats trying to get in on something that's hip, that's in the news. Remember, they are always trying to manipulate the media. Remember, we talk about it almost every day. Nancy Pe-lousey is trying to manipulate the media using emotion. That last story was one about manipulating the media for emotion, again, for children. They're trying to hop on the bandwagon on a story. What they should be coming out is, listen, okay, little kids, we understand, but that's not what this is. This is a bunch of idiot, spoiled, brat millennials who are looking for something else to do to get some attention on the internet. And what they should do is get what they got coming to them. They'll never learn any lessons if we continue to pass laws to try to protect them. The more mommy and daddy tries to protect them, the more government tries to protect them, the stupider they're going to continue to be. Do you agree or disagree? Thumbs up or thumbs down. Share the video. Tell me what you think. Darla agrees. Yes, they always use emotion. Tammy says there is more important to do in the White House than talk about Tide Pods. Parents should be responsible for what their kids do. They need to warn them. They need to talk to them. It all comes down to parenting. But again, this is not parenting stuff. Again, if you've got little kids, you need to keep it out of their way. You put it up high so they can't reach it. A high school kid, they're just looking for attention. Okay? And they want brain damage. That one kid, I played a video the other day, he's smoking it. I'm smoking a Tide Pod. I got a bong. Well, pretty soon you're going to be going, Tide Democrat, Tide Democrat, Democrat. I like the Democrat. And that's pretty much all he's going to be able to say in the home. Yeah, Ryan says, and go try eating some of that cotton candy in the attic, too. Democrat, Tide. Oh, that was probably offensive to some people. You want to see something else offensive to Democrats? Democrat. I want me Democrat. I smoke the Tide Pod. I'm a Democrat. Democrat. Here's something that's good that the Democrats are going to love, love, love. President Trump's approval rating tops Barack Obama's by 4 points at the same time of his presidency. I'm telling you, as the Democrats panic, lie, cheat, and steal, America is, at its core, fair. Now, these Democrats, they may not be. Those are people who are just haters and sycophants, and they don't care about the truth. They're just blinded by Democrats. But regular people who just want what's best for America are generally fair. And they're seeing what the Democrats are doing to Trump, and they're getting sick of it. And it's starting to seem, and rightfully so, it is starting to seem to be weaponized. The government was weaponized against Trump, and we've said it before, we'll say it again. When did Obama know, and what did he know, and when did he know it? Of course, we saw the new text that came out today. Obama wants to be briefed. Of course, the Democrats are coming, it wasn't about the FBI and the spying on Trump. No, it was about something else. Don't lie to us. We're on to you. You just hate the FBI. Don't lie to us. We're on to you. We do not want bad apples in the FBI. Okay? Just like there's some bad cops, doesn't mean we hate all cops. Just because there were some bad priests, doesn't mean we hate all priests. Just because there were some bad teachers, doesn't mean we hate all teachers. Just because there was some bad talk show hosts, doesn't mean we hate all talk show hosts. Quit trying to manipulate the American people. We are on to you. We are on to you. Democrats, we're on to you. And you people watching, you're too smart for this. But sometimes we need to tell our friends, have them understand what it is. That's why you got to share the video. Hey, this guy Rusty Humphries, he's telling the truth. He's kind of funny sometimes too. Democrat! Share the video. Make sure you watch. Tell them, make sure they watch it. Share it every night. Share it right now. I'm on 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West, Monday through Thursday, unless something else comes up. Corey says I'm not wrong. Duke says the Tide Pod never looked like candy to me. No kid thinks they're candy. It was a YouTube dare that idiots followed just to get their ignorant faces on some kind of a show. Yes. You're right. Scrolling. Oh. Before I get on to something else much more important. 25 years ago today, one of the great movies of all time that if was presented today in Hollywood, they never in a million years would they make this movie today. But I sure love it. Any guesses? 25 years ago today. Seems like it had to have been longer than that. I'll check in a second. Anyway, this is the anniversary of when this particular movie.
How the West was won.
Have you ever seen such cruelty?
Remember when men were real men?
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Remember when women were real women?
Hello, boys. Have a good night's rest. I missed you.
Remember when cowboys sat around a campfire?
How about more beans, Mr. Taggart? I'd say you've had enough.
Well, try to remember Laughing Out Loud with Mel Brooks, Blazing Saddles.
Tuesday night at 8 on Channel 11.
Channel 11. Was it really? 20 had to have been long. 1974. On this date of 1974. How awesome is that? So how many years I'm bad with math today? How many years is it? 1974. I've had two experiences with people from that. One, I got to spend a day with Mel Brooks. It was when his movie Life Stinks came out, and I was in Dallas, and I was a radio host, and it was before the Producer's play came out, the musical. And I remember we were hanging out, and I went, "Springtime for Hitler and Germany." And he said, "You're one of the first people to sing back that to me the right way. Everybody gets it wrong." And he and I just hit it off. And so he invited me to go to all of his other interviews all day long and then sit next to him in the first screening of the movie Life Stinks that he ever had with an audience. And it was not his best. Life Stinks was not his best movie ever. But I got to tell you, it was one of the greatest days ever. He was exactly the way you would hope he would be. Except he was, Ida says 44 years, by the way, for Blazing Saddles. I think the only thing different was he kept going, was it funny? Was it funny? What do you think of that? Was it funny? Are you sure it's funny? I mean, he wasn't as, he certainly wasn't arrogant. But anyway, he was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. One of the great days of my life, getting to spend the day with Mel Brooks. And then I spent the day with I interviewed Cleavon Little. He was the sheriff in Blazing Saddles. And this would have been in about, 1988, 1890. And yeah, by the way, somebody saying, depending on which month, probably 43 years ago. It was on this day. It was on this day that Blazing Saddles was released. Anyway, so Cleavon Little, I'm about to interview him, and I go, I can't find my notes. Oh, here they are. Excuse me while I whip them out. And he looks at me and he goes, "What was that?" It was from the movie. And he was like offended. I did that movie like 25 years ago. I mean, what do you want from me? And you want to go, dude, it's the only thing you're known for. I mean, it's the movie. It's one of the great movies of all time. Anyway. Okay. Linda says Nancy Pe-lousey is the best for the Republican Party. Absolutely. Kara says my favorite Mel Brooks movies, Young Frankenstein and Spaceballs. Randy said he had a need to know whether things were going the way he wants. Excuse me while I whip this out. Yes. Craig says, notice how Nancy Pe-lousey admitted God was a man. Feminists and liberals are going to go ape. Yeah, Jessica has Blazing Saddles release date February 7th, 1974. Tammy says, movies, these late night or daytime shows are for mature audiences only. You can't know how mature the person is. All right. Let's see. Mungo like candy. I think my favorite, I mean, there's so many things in that movie, and so many are crude, and yes, it's racist. You know, again, who wrote the movie? It was Mel Brooks and Richard Pryor. What they were trying to do was expose racism. You know, today we point, you know, there's so many people that want to be called, that want to be professional victims and pretend that they have racism against them, when the truth is, it's so far away from what it was in the 70s and the 60s and the 50s that they've got nothing to do but complain now. You know, I was in Cambodia about 8 months ago. And I was in this neighborhood that had been rebuilt by this wonderful charity. And they'd done such good things. And they were so proud of what they built. But it was a garbage dump. Guys, I mean, everywhere, huge mountains and piles of garbage everywhere. I mean, it was gross. It was smelly, flies. It was terrible. And as they were very proud of, you know, what they had done in Cambodia, I went to the leader, an American. I said, Bud, the place is awful. It's just a mess here. And he said, when you're worried about food and shelter, cleanliness is not on your list. And there is a list of things that in human, and when you go to very, very poor countries, nothing like in America, very, very poor countries, and you see trash everywhere. They're worried about getting food and shelter. And it's the same thing here. So then you come to America, when you don't have to worry about food, clothing, shelter. We're not worried about life, liberty. All we're now worried about is the pursuit of happiness. The streets are clean. Not worried about getting shot at. Not worried about where food's coming from. So there's not a lot of real problems that we have to worry about. So people make them up. Now we got kids don't know what sex they are. Why? Because there's not much else to worry about. That's how far we've gone. Anyway. All right, quickly. Donald Trump wants to do a parade. The left is just... It's just like Kim Jong-un. He wants to show what kind of a dictator he is. I want to do a quick poll right now. Yes, no. Yes, I think we should do a parade with Trump, a military parade down Pennsylvania Avenue. No, I don't think so. Yes, I want you to write it and thumbs up or sad. Thumbs up, yes, I want the parade. No or sad, I do not want the parade. I don't think it's worth the time, effort, or money. Very curious what you think, real quick. Let's see. Here, let's get a little voting music going. Let me get some voting music. Do I have any voting music? Anything happy? Here we go. Voting music. Do you want to see a military parade going down Pennsylvania Avenue with Donald Trump inspecting the troops? Or do you think that looks too much like a third world dictator, Russia communist thing showing what a egotistical, power-hungry fool that Donald Trump is, as the Democrats would say? Thumbs up or hearts yes if I like it. Sad or no if I do not. All right, let's take a look. The voting is closed. And by the way, Russians, if you're watching, please do not cheat on this vote. This is a scientific vote. The Russians are going to take over the vote on the parade, too. Let's see here. Mark says, visiting a third world country is sure to make you thankful we live in the U.S. That's for sure. Linda says, I'd like to see a military parade. Kara says, I just read that some of the kids today find some of the things on Friends offensive. Wow. Tammy says, I love parades. Doris says, watch National Geographic Chain of Command. Okay. Linda says, love it. Eric, love it. Yes. Tammy, yes. Doreen, yes. Linda, yes. Mark, the hatred for the military from the left is palpable for the military. Leona, yes. Harlan, yes. Ben, because of the paths made by vets. John says you can't change your chromosomes. Yes, great idea. Linda, yes, parade. Military vet James says no. Glenn says yes. Sue says let's have a military parade as soon as possible. Tammy, yes. Nate, yes. I know we're better than that, says Richard. William says no. As a vet, I can say we don't want to show our ponies. We have better things to do. Charlotte says yes. Rita, yes. Parade. Tim, yes. Diane, yes. John, yes. Mark says I want a parade right into the Senate and get some business done. Scott, as a vet, yes. Richard, yes. Over here, you're saying? Dan would go to that parade. Arlie says, why would anyone be against showing respect to our veterans? Johnny says 1,000 yeses. All right. I love the idea of a parade. However, I'm always concerned with the optics and how it will be used against this president. They are going to, they meaning the media, are going to shoot the video to make him look like Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un, a Russian dictator. They're going to do everything they can to make Trump look very, very bad and very, very egotistical. I did hear, well, you can't run tanks down the street at Pennsylvania Avenue because it'll ruin the blacktop. I think you put the tanks on a truck and wheel them through, dumbass. That being said, I want to honor the military. And they deserve honors far more often than we do. I think I'd rather see it be done on a military base. I think I'd like to see a base where they had a big show, people can go out there. I'm not sure I want to see it going in front of the White House. I think that can be, because again, we have a civilian that runs the military, and we don't want it to, optics are everything around the world too. Pictures say 1,000 words. These things are important. And, a parade going down Pennsylvania Avenue, I don't know that that's the right thing to do. At a military base, I'm all for it. What do you say to that? Am I right or wrong? Yes or no? Yes, Rusty, you're right. Oh, no, you're wrong. Let me know. Carter says track pads, they're rubber. The left wing will probably make it look like a Russian show of arms parade. Yep, rubber tread, says Forrest. Linda says, we used to have a parade for anything military patriotic related, but not anymore. Floyd loves the parade. Linda says, oh no, I want it right down Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay, all right, Linda. All right, let's see. Dan wants that parade on Veterans Day. Cindy thinks I'm right. Leona says, yes, you're right. See, again, we have to use our reason and logic, which is what most conservatives rely on. And then we have to understand the emotional aspect that usually we don't take into account. And if we could combine those, we'll be much smarter in our communications and our persuasions with the rest of the country. Linda thinks I'm dead wrong, though. Tammy says, I was born in a territory in the U.S. Parades of our America's celebration of unity on a base. Armed Forces Day is what we have here. Linda thinks I'm right. John thinks I'm right. Richard says, let's have a parade. Raymond says, be proud. Robert says, I'd go to a military base. Have the Blue Angels fly at the same time? Yes, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Absolutely. Okay. Oh. I did see something. I don't say that it's not negative about Trump. I mean, I unlike Democrats, I will show, bad things about the president, good things, because I'm a real American. I mean, I'm a journalist. I'm supposed to get both sides. I got to admit, this one's kind of funny. It's Trump going on to Air Force One, and it's very windy, and I want you to watch his hair. Watch his hair. Here we go. It's in his back. Watch here. Oh, it popped up. Look. Oh, right there. Right there. Oh, man. Oh, look at the flap. Oh. Oh, the flap. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. It comes from Vanity Fair. They're no supporters of Trump, but they're trying to suggest that by Trump shaving his hair, he should go like Prince William and go bald, and that would be the ultimate sign of strength. Hey, listen, up here is not my favorite either. Leah says, who cares? Mark says it's the Empire Strike Back stuff. Robert says that was edited. You could tell. Maybe. Judy thinks we should have that parade on Memorial Day. Linda thinks the parade on Veterans Day. Tammy says he's got the money to fix his hair. Linda says, who cares about the hair, seriously? So, Linda, sometimes you got to talk about something that's a little bit funny, silly, goofy. It can't be all the memo. Linda loves his comb over. Richard says BFD. Another Linda says it looks doctored. Okay. Darla says bald is beautiful. Dan says, well, we know he combs his last 30 strands over. Jeannie says, I do think Veterans Day would be more appropriate, but with the Blue Angels, they come to California, fly over the ocean every year in an air show in Huntington Beach. Ricky says, what does his hair have to do with anything? Well, what they're suggesting is that, some great leaders went bald. Eisenhower. Would it show more strength if he let his hair be more natural? Just a question. Let's see. Oh, one other one. And this one, I don't like this thing. I don't like this story, but it needs to be addressed. Rob Porter is a White House staff secretary, and he resigned today. And White House staff secretary is kind of like, as I understand it, it's kind of the right-hand man underneath chief of staff. And according to stories, he resigned after both of his ex-wives accused him of abuse. And by the way, I guess he's now dating Hope Hicks. Hope Hicks is Donald Trump's right-hand gal and has been for a long time. As a matter of fact, before Trump, when Trump started running for president, the only person you could talk to was Hope. And I probably still have her cell phone number. She was awesome. Very smart, very sharp, very cool. So if she's dating somebody, good luck. Congratulations on that guy. But they actually stalked them yesterday and followed them around. Look at this. This is Hope Hicks here. Let me get a little closer here. This is Hope Hicks. She's been with Trump for years and years. She's only 29 years old. And by all accounts, everybody I know just thinks the world of her. This is White House Staff Secretary Porter 10 days ago, and they followed him on a date and got pictures and stuff. So now they're saying they go back to year 2010, or is it even further than that? When was this picture? Oh, this is the early 2000s. So supposedly he was on vacation on his honeymoon. He got mad at his wife and hit her, and this happened in the year, early 2000s. And then 2010, he did the same thing to his second ex-wife, and neither one of them filed charges at the time, but now they're talking, and his political career is now over. I don't know about these charges, and if it's true what happened a long time ago between a husband and wife, these are terrible allegations. But are we able to go back still 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, something that has absolutely nothing to do with the job and ruin somebody's life without going through a court of law? When does it end? Or do we say, hey, he hit a woman and his career should be done, period, end of story? Ladies, I'd like to know from you. I mean, I'm worried somebody's going to come back. Yeah, when Rusty was in high school in 1979, he said something mean to me, and now my career's over. I mean, I don't know where this ends. And I don't know anything about this guy. I've heard he's smart. Mark says moral turpitude matters. Jessica says, what is the quota for charges? Linda has a son who's in the National Guard's a sergeant major. Thank you very much, Linda. Let's see here. Terry says depends on what he did to her. Supposedly they got in a fight, and she claims he hit her on the honeymoon. It's like, boy, there's a lot of, why, you're going to hit your new wife on the honeymoon? I mean, you're an idiot. I probably wouldn't want to hang out with you, but I don't know. We destroy people's career? I don't know. Kara says it's a long time ago. Investigation first. Linda wants to know if there was a payoff to tell the story. Tony says abuse doesn't change on its own. And then Eric says, what about the text that came out today? We talked about that earlier, but we can talk about that more. And again, it's the same story, but it proves, on top of each other, that there was collusion at the highest levels. I've been saying it for weeks now. What did Obama know, and when did he know it? And we have to have a serious investigation into the weaponization of our government for the Democrat Party. Because if we don't do this, and people aren't charged, and people don't go to jail, then Donald Trump should be able to do it to the Democrats. And I don't think he should. I think it should be stopped. I think it's some of the most serious charges in the history of our country. And again, it's not that we don't like the FBI, not going after the FBI. We're going after the corruption inside the FBI. And every American should be for that. Every American should know. It should do that. Corrine says, I'm a woman, and anyone who tried to hit me or did hit me, I would have reported it right away, not 10 or 20 years later. Forrest says, nope, man doesn't hit a woman. Well, I agree with that. Chris wants to know what she did. I don't think that matters on hitting somebody. Eric thinks that Obama knew everything was running at all. I totally agree. Donetta says, a grown woman should report within a reasonable amount of time. If not, it's just vindictive or a lie. That's the other thing. How many of you have ex-spouses who, if they had a chance, would like to get back at you? Revenge is a very powerful emotion. Again, it's people letting emotions take control of their better judgment. It's scary. Linda says there's a double standard. Kara said every woman had the nerve to say every woman has a right to be believed. Wrong. Every woman has a right to be heard. We have due process for a reason. Cheryl says we need a new counselor. Kevin says, why are Democrats more concerned with dreamers than legal citizens? Can it be because they have no platform to run on, need the vote of dreamers? That's true. Darius says nothing. Absolute revenge. Yeah. Arlie says, if you look at it from a liberal point of view, you cannot be forgiven for any illegal or immoral act except border jumping. I will not judge not knowing the facts. And that's kind of how I feel about it, too. To be honest, the thing about, though, you say, well, you're not doing that with the memos and the texts and the Democrats, because they have a history of doing these things. We knew something stunk during the election process. We knew these things were happening, and we are being proven right time and time and time and time again. So something needs to be done there, and we need to have follow-up. And I want the Department of Justice to get off its tail and start doing its job. Okay. Your job, should you choose to do it, is to find the HearMeOut app wherever you download your apps on your smartphone, your Android or your iPhone. Download the HearMeOut app and find and follow me, Rusty Humphries. It's so important, I can't tell you. Please follow me on the HearMeOut app. Okay? Please do it right after the show. I'm almost done. Just go and download that thing. Find me, Rusty Humphries, and play around with it. Make some comments yourself. Put a hashtag Rusty. I'll find you. All right? Also, would you please go check out my book, 7 Ways to Win Political Debates for Your Liberal Family and Friends and Still Keep Them as Family and Friends. It is available at Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and in audiobook on Audible. Check out the great website, Liberty One TV. Great shows there, good guys. More conservative voices that maybe you haven't heard yet. Maybe you should listen to more. Liberty One TV. Do not trust these big social media companies that you're seeing us on now. We could disappear in a heartbeat. So find me, Rusty Humphries. Follow me in the Hear Me Out app. Go to Liberty One TV. Find out more. Have you liked the page that you're on? Have you shared this video? That's all we ask. I'm not asking for you to send me a check or a donation. I'm just saying, hey, help out. Get the word out if you would, please. It makes so much difference. I want to thank my good friends at Right Wing News, my good friends at Liberty One TV, but most of all, I would like to thank you. You're awesome. We'll see you again tomorrow night, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West. My name is Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.